Welcome back to From the Shed and welcome back to another video, another live stream, another Chelsea video where we're going to get into all the latest transfer news happening inside, outside, in and around Cobham. As always, please make sure you smash the subscribe button. If you haven't done so already, if you're part of this live stream, make sure you get involved in a conversation. There's three big, good topics to talk about. The last one, very juicy at the end. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Obviously, we're touching on a lot of transfer news over the next couple of days. We are back in action tomorrow. Bayern Leverkusen. I think it's 7 p.m. kickoff. I'm looking forward to it. Then we have Sunday, 3 p.m. Let's just double check I'm not talking rubbish. Yeah, 7 p.m. Oh, not tomorrow, Friday. I keep thinking it's Thursday today. 7 p.m. Bayer Leverkusen, Stamford Bridge. If you're not going to the match, it's on DAZN, it's on the 5 app, it's on Channel 5 as well. Then on Sunday, 3 p.m., if I'm not mistaken. Am I wrong? Am I right? I feel like I'm right on this one. 3 p.m., AC Milan, Stamford Bridge. Again, if you're not there, if you haven't got a ticket for the game, the match is on DAZN and it's also on the Channel 5 app. Before we get into today's live stream, actually, massive congratulations to ourselves from the Shed Ends. First of all, we obviously had 1,000 subscribers last week on the YouTube. We've just hit 20,000 Instagram followers. So obviously the other Theo who's on this channel with me, he's done a lot of work over the last 3 or 4 weeks, generating a lot of traffic to the channel. If you haven't done so already, hit the Linktree link after this. Make sure you go over to our Instagram. If you're not following over there, make sure you are following on the Instagram as well. But let's get straight into it. There's a lot to unpick. There's a lot to unfold. There's a lot to understand what is happening at Chelsea Football Club at the moment. The first bit of news, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall has departed from Chelsea. This cannot come as a shock or a surprise to us at Chelsea because we knew this was going to happen. I don't want to say I'm disappointed because I'm not. I'm happy for Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. I'm happy that he was able to come and, as you can see, win the Club World Cup. Some will say shamelessly, but at the same time, in the same vein of breath, you know, it's a very, very good way to bow out as a Chelsea player. It goes on to say in here that Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall has left Chelsea and completed a permanent transfer to Premier League side Everton. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall joined the Blues from Leicester City in the summer of 2024, and the 26-year-old midfielder made 36 appearances across all competitions last season. Dewsbury-Hall leaves Chelsea as a European, shamelessly, and a world champion, shamelessly, but we'll take it, having been part of the group that won the Conference League and the Club World Cup trophy. Goes on to say that they thank him for his efforts throughout the time at Chelsea and wish him well as he begins his new chapter at, I was going to say Goodison Park, but it's not Goodison Park anymore. It's now, I'm not calling it what they want you to call it, but I'm going to say Bramley-Moore, not the other name for it. But I think that's a very, very good, I think that's a very good move for Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. And again, not to be disrespectful to him at all. I do think, personally, that is the level of football that he needs. And we got to see the reason why he came, not just because of Maresco when he came to Stamford Bridge, but one of the key things with the Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall move was that he was actually a really good player. He's a very, very good player. In the chat, we've got, why is there a delay? We're going to get into that. Matinda Allen, we will get into the reason why I personally think Xavi Simon's deal is stalling. We're going to get into that a little bit later in the stream. But with Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, what will he offer? What will he offer Everton? Well, I think they do. I mean, if you look at Everton's midfield, and I'm trying to remember it very quickly. Let me try and bring it up on the screen. I think there won't be many Everton fans that will be disappointed by this. And I think this move for Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall is probably what he needs. Now, Everton in their midfield, they are light in that department. Medical, obviously done with Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, signed, sealed and delivered. But they do need reinforcements in their team. There's talk about Jack Grealish going there as well. And I think Dewsbury-Hall will add to their midfield. Let's just have a quick look at it now. Tell you what, the Everton the guys who run the website, Everton, not hanging around. He's already in there. But as you can see, they got Alcaraz, they got Garner Gay, they got James Garner, they got Eric Mbunam, Armstrong, and then they got Dewsbury-Hall. So of course, Dewsbury-Hall comes in. He adds, for me, quality to their midfield. It's a no-brainer, you know. And I think he's a David Moyes type of player. So I'm happy for Dewsbury-Hall. I'm happy he came to Chelsea. He was able to not only just win the Conference League, which is what they've touched on in the statement that has come out by Chelsea, but he's also been able to add to certain elements of our squad when we were low on numbers, when we had suspensions, when we needed to rest players like Enzo and Caicedo in the Conference League to help us get to the top 4 in the Premier League. He was there to do all of that. So I don't think we can be negative about the move. I don't think we should be critical about the move. I think it's a very good move for him. It's a very good move for Everton. The money we got for him as well, it's just under 30 million. I think it will potentially rise up until the 30 million mark when, you know, add-ons and bonuses. And like I said to you last night, guys, this is a club that will not hang around to get rid of players. If they need to get rid of players, they're going to get rid of them. They're going to get rid of the players they need to get rid of, because unfortunately we become a buy to sell club. We become a buy to sell club. It's how it goes. It's just how it goes sometimes, unfortunately. But good luck to Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. Very good player for us. If I'm not mistaken, let's see if we can find that. I'm pretty sure we've got another outgoing to really, really touch on just very quickly before we get into the other big piece of news. I'm pretty sure it just flashed up before. So let's see if it has actually been confirmed. It has been confirmed. Let's get straight into that. We've got another departure. Hot off the press. Official. Mark Gui has joined Sunderland on a 1-season-long loan. Now that, I think, is a very, very good move for him. Struggled in his first season at Chelsea, I think. I think he was brought in to play second fiddle. I don't think he was brought in to be the main guy. We know that he's 18. He's not coming to play his first choice striker at Chelsea. He done well in the Conference League. And I think we have to credit him for that. He obviously got that big injury that kept him out for a while. The same time, I think Nicolas Jackson was out as well. So we were light on the ground at some points. But he's proven that he's got very good qualities about him. And the fact that he's staying in the Premier League, is staying with a team that have actually done well, I think Sunderland, in the transfer market. And it's a good place to go and learn your football. A team like Sunderland, who they're not expected to go and run away with the league, or they're not expected to be top half of the league, but you will get game time, you will get opportunities to score goals. And from a selfish point of view, that's all we care about. We don't care about Sunderland if they get 3 points or whether they stay in the Premier League next season. All we care about is Mark Gui getting opportunities to score goals, you know, working out what the Premier League's like, all the rest of it. And I think this is a big test for him. This will be a big test for Mark Gui. You don't want him to go there and he doesn't really either hit the ground running or he doesn't get the game time, because not getting the game time at Sunderland, he should be first on the team sheet. You know, he's that good. You know, this is a player that was at Barcelona. Like I said, he came into the Conference League for us. He done really well. You know, it wasn't like he was struggling in the Conference League. He was scoring goals. He looked very good. He was making the right runs. He's able to take on defenders. He's got a brilliant shot on him as well. So I think going to Sunderland is not a bad thing at all. It's a loan deal, so I'm sure there'll be I don't think there's no mandatory involved in that. So he'll be back at Chelsea. And this is where we move on to our next bit of news. Because here we are. This was reported yesterday and it's shifted into this afternoon as well. Originally, this was reported by Ben Jacobs. Nicolas Jackson is another name on Newcastle's list of attacking options, and Chelsea are open to a sale. There have been some initial club-to-club talks already. Brentford's Jan Wissa is another target, with the player pushing to join Newcastle. Several options discussed by Newcastle alongside the pursuit of Benjamin Sesko, which we now know is not happening. Looks like Sesko will be going to Manchester United. Ben Jacobs followed that up with Newcastle, and Nicolas Jackson remains one to watch. Here's why I personally think this sale happens. Yesterday, I wasn't too sure. Today, I'm 80% certain, maybe 75, but more 80% certain that Nicolas Jackson will be playing Tyneside football, St. James's Park, mixing it with the Geordies next season, because I think Newcastle are in that stage where their desperation is no longer hidden. And they will take, I was watching a live stream earlier, I won't name and shame the person, but they said they would take Jamie Vardy at Newcastle at this point. They said they would take Dominic Calvert-Lewin on a free transfer at this point. The problem with Newcastle, and why I think personally now, more so, why I think Chelsea are now willing and open to sell Nicolas Jackson, is because we all know that Newcastle, one, are desperate, and two, they've got the money to spend. Because the deal that they were trying to get done for, in fact, let me go through the list of players that they've lost out on. Let's go through the list of players that they've lost out on so far. This has been, I think I said last night, Newcastle's transfer window so far has been a -2. I wish I could share this on the screen, but they've missed out on Dean Huijsen, who's now at Real Madrid. They've missed out on Brian Mbeumo, who's at Manchester United. Mateus Cunha, who's also at Manchester United. They missed out on our two targets, Liam Delap, who was interested in a move to Newcastle, and João Pedro. They've missed out on Hugo Ekitike, James Trafford, Benjamin Sesko. Now, all of those deals, let's talk about the strikers. So Ekitike, Sesko, João Pedro, Liam Delap, and Mbeumo. You could put Cunha in there as well. They were offering some serious money for these players up front, not in installments. I think 10 million of the 70 or 80 million that they were offering for Benjamin Sesko, which has been agreed with RB Leipzig. Player wants Manchester United. We know they've got money. We know that their owners have just brought in two strikers, Liam Delap, João Pedro. I generally think Newcastle, not that they're stupid enough, but they're desperate enough. They will pay 70 million, close to 70 million for Nicolas Jackson. And I think that's the valuation. I think that's what the club want for Nicolas Jackson. They want to make sure that they get their money's worth from him. They want to make profit off him. So I generally think the desperation is literally clear to see from Newcastle. You know, they've lost out on all their key targets this season. They've been pipped at the finish line for Ekitike, for Sesko, for João Pedro, Liam Delap. All their first choice targets have now gone to other clubs. Callum Wilson's at West Ham. They don't have much time to get things resolved. And I'll be honest, I don't think Nicolas Jackson going there is a bad option for them. He's not a bad striker. We talk about Nicolas Jackson at Chelsea, and I've done it. I'm one of those that I've definitely criticised him over the years that he's been here, but he's not a bad striker. I think I said yesterday he needs 10 chances to score 5. You can coach that into him. You can coach that into him to be better. But I don't know. I just don't think he's. I don't think he's got a choice but to move on now. And we've seen how quick our deals are getting done. Broya's gone. Ogunchukwu's gone. Dewsbury-Hall gone. Like, players are just going. Like, they're not waiting around to see what the manager thinks or the manager's plans, or maybe we'll get a game against Leverkusen. I can fight my way back into the team. Players are just getting off now. They're just thinking, actually, you know what? It's probably the right thing for me to do. And let's be honest as well. As it stands at the moment, and the wages that they were going to offer Sesko, Newcastle offered more money wage-wise than Manchester United did for Benjamin Sesko, and he's chosen Manchester United. So again, it works in our favor. We know that Newcastle have got money to one, on the transfer, and two, to offer on wages. They could easily offer another 50 grand a week to Nicolas Jackson. And they might have to in order to get him, because like I said, the desperation is clearly there for them. They are at that stage now where they might have to go and pick up the phone and see if Calvert-Lewin wants to come and play for a season or two, or Jamie Vardy. They're at that stage. There's not many other strikers they can go and ring up now and say, actually, can you come and play for us? Apart from Nicolas Jackson. They might get Wissa, but can Brentford really afford to let Mbeumo and Wissa go? New manager in charge. I don't think so. I don't think they can. We can afford to let Nicolas Jackson go. We can afford to let him go, because he's with Liam Delap and João Pedro. They're two players that I think they're interchangeable. You could start with Liam Delap as your number 9 most games. João Pedro is very versatile. He can play off the left side. He can play behind the attacker. But like I said last night, we can see the killer instinct in João Pedro. The goals that he scored before he even stepped foot in Cobham in the Club World Cup, I don't think Nicolas Jackson's scoring them. In fact, I know Nicolas Jackson does not score those goals. You have to be a killer instinct in front of goal. And sometimes you can take a player away from a club and it just hasn't worked. It just hasn't worked for certain players. You know, I think back to Morata, his time at Chelsea, it never worked. He went back to Spain and he was killing it over there. And he went to Italy, done the same. He was scoring some decent goals for them. And now all of a sudden, he looks like a player that can score goals. Think back to Torres. You know, Torres scored some important goals for us, but when Torres was at Liverpool, and I know he had that big injury before we signed him, but he wasn't the Torres of at Liverpool when he came to Chelsea. So sometimes just being in a different team, it doesn't always mean you're a bad player. It doesn't mean that Jackson can't go to Newcastle and actually improve, become a better player, get another big move somewhere else. Because he can. He's still young. He's very raw still. He can get somewhere and get another move. So I don't think this is a bad move. And Chelsea would be stupid, I think, in my opinion, not to even entertain a conversation of getting that deal done. I just think we need to cash in. I think Mark Gui going on loan is a big statement for me, because we could have sold him, maybe not for the 60 or 70 million, but we could have sold him for a profit, 100%. But something tells me, because of his age, because of maybe what Maresca and maybe some of the coaches are seeing on a training level with him, they see the higher potential with Mark Gui than they do with Nicolas Jackson. And let's have it right as well. Nicolas Jackson has had opportunities. It's not like he's just been sat around at Cobham and he's not been playing. He's been playing week in, week out. And we'd be all liars, all of us as Chelsea fans, if we said that he hasn't frustrated us throughout periods of our time as Chelsea fans whilst he's been playing for us. So with the strikers that we've got coming in, I still think we bring in another big name in our attacking areas. I think we'd be stupid not to cash in. I think we'd be stupid not to cash in on Nicolas Jackson. Maybe do you put a buyback clause in there? Maybe you put a buyback clause in there. But Newcastle are very, very they're at desperation. They're so desperate. They've stopped training. They're having barbecues on the training ground now. Families invited, kids invited, everyone's invited. Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. I think it's it's crazy. It's crazy to even think that we're entertaining this. But for 60 or 70 million, we would be stupid. And we know that Newcastle's got the money. The money's sat in the bank. It's waiting to be just given out to us. They can afford his wages. They can offer him more wages. He'll love the nightlife in Newcastle. Let's have it right as well. He'll love it over there. He'll love it. He'll enjoy it. Let's get him over there. Let's get rid of him. Let's get rid of him. I'm all for Jackson moving on. I've seen enough of Jackson for him to be obviously not the person we need him to be our number 9 going forward. He's not going to be the guy that's going to get us over the line in games. When it matters, if we're trying to push for the Premier League, Nicolas Jackson is not the guy to do that for us. Nicolas Jackson will not get us over the line against City, over the line against Liverpool. João Pedro might. Liam Delap might. Both of those look very hungry in front of goal. Nicolas Jackson might get sent off instead. You just don't know. And that's another thing, discipline. You can't have a striker getting booked as many times as he gets booked and red cards. And they're not even red cards where you're trying to win the ball or you're trying to, you're making a challenge to try and win the ball to score a goal. You're just doing stupid things. You're doing stupid things. And we can't even blame it on like immaturity or, his age. He's a professional footballer. He hasn't just started kicking football from grassroots and he's now in a professional football club. He's been at clubs before. So for me, Nicolas Jackson, thanks for your services. It's been amazing. Get out. Just get out now. You gotta go. You've gotta go, mate. You gotta go. That's my opinion. I don't know what anyone else in the chat thinks, but I think Nicolas Jackson's time has been served. He's done us well. He's done well in moments, but like I said last night, we've been comparing him to Didier Drogba, and at this point in Didier Drogba's career, he's going into his 3rd season. Drogba was showing us the levels. He was showing us what we needed. Nicolas Jackson's not doing that. Nicolas Jackson's not showing us anything. He's just showing us he can get sent off and send us an apology. Or not even apologize. His last red card, he never even apologized to no one. He just carried on like it was normal. He just carried on like it was normal. So, yeah, we can't be carrying any passengers. We can't be carrying any passengers in this. There's not a chance. We can't be carrying any passengers in this season. You either turn up and you put in a shift, or you don't play for us and you go to St. James's Park. But Eddie Howe, I think this deal's going to happen. This deal's going to happen because Newcastle can't go into this season. They just can't go into the season with just the strikers that they've got. That don't make any sense. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And they will lose out on Shesko. Oh, and this is a very important. I'm glad I've come across this. This is a very, very important thing. It kind of sums up what I've just been saying about discipline. As you can see, sums up Newcastle's transfer window. Nicolas Jackson would miss the first game due to his red card he got versus Newcastle United. You couldn't make it up. You couldn't make it up. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with this as well. Newcastle fans better learn to love Nicolas Jackson. And I'll be honest as well. This doesn't hang on Alexander Isak. This doesn't hang on whether Alexander Isak leaves or I think they still need another striker. I think this is not to replace Alexander Isak. This is to make sure that they have sufficient cover. They've lost Callum Wilson, who was the backup to Alexander Isak, who does not have the best injury record. So I know Liverpool fans are going to get excited if they come in and sign Nicolas Jackson. I don't think this is not the signing to get rid of Isak. Essentially, this is a signing that is going to help Newcastle achieve what they need to achieve, and with that, they need to keep Alexander Isak. So I'm not concerned about what other clubs are doing or what they think. I don't think this is a deal that is going to get rid of Isak to Liverpool. I think this is a deal that they know they need covering to make sure that they've got enough cover for the season. So that's what I think. But I'm going to bring this back up. Matinda Allen, Why is there a delay for Xavi Simons to Chelsea? It's a very, very good question. It's a very good question. Why do I think? Well, you would have thought by now the deal would be done, but I'm going to bring this up because here you can see so far. This is from a Twitter account, and this is from a couple of days ago. So actually, this is now out of date already. As you can see, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall's down there, but it does go on to say so far these are our outgoings. João Felix still can't believe that 50 million euros plus a sell-on clause. Amanda Broyo, 25 million. We'll take that. Leslie Onwuchukwu, we'll say 15. I think it's 20 million we got for him. Noni Madweki, 60 million euros. Better, I'll tell you who's not on here actually. Kepa. But yeah, Marcus Bettinelli, Bashir Humphreys is also gone. Alfie Gilchrist, I'm pretty sure hasn't got any deal anywhere yet. I'm pretty sure he hasn't, but I might be wrong there. But Kepa's not on that list. There was 5 million for Kepa as well. Now, potential sales, they're all still on there. We've just been talking about Nicholas Jackson, Axel Dazazi, Ben Chilwell, who apparently no one's picking up the phone for, Carney Chukwuemeka, Raheem Sterling, and all the rest of it. Now that's a very good, that shows you actually a very good way of understanding how we need to balance out the books. Now, we've spent a lot of money so far in this transfer window. We've recouped a lot of the money. I think we've recouped at least over, I think it's like 60% of what we've spent so far this season in player sales, and we haven't finished. The owners are saying that they still want another 150 to 200 million to be recovered from sales of players to then balance out the books to even it out so we can then make spends. Now, I think personally that might be, and this probably is the ultimate reason really why we're not seeing the Xavi Simons deal progress as quickly as we want. Personal terms are not an issue. So I generally think it literally comes down to, boils down to, how quick can we get rid of Raheem Sterling, who's on £325,000 a week? How quick can we unfortunately get rid of Ben Chilwell? If that Nicholas Jackson deal goes through, that's probably the biggest out of all the transfers that we've got or we're expecting to make. That's the biggest one that's going to generate the most money. So if you get that deal done, you get the Raheem Sterling money off the books in terms of wages, you're talking 150. That's including transfers and wages, 150 million, probably more if you think about Raheem Sterling's wages, 325 grand a week. Then you've got Ben Chilwell, who I think eventually someone will come in for Ben Chilwell. I think that'll be a last minute, I think even the Crystal Palace move was a very last minute thing. I think someone else will come in for him. Dazazi will go. I think Badia Shield might go if we keep Chalobah. There's been a lot of talk last week about Tariq Joe. So I think some of these deals have to get done. Some of these deals are going to have to get done in order for us to start progressing the Xavi Simons deal. I generally think we do want Donnarumma. In order to do that deal, we are going to have to go against the model, the wage cap. What we currently have, we'll have to go above that for him. And we've done it before with Raheem Sterling. I think Reece James is probably one of the highest paid players. Unless Donnarumma comes and he says, actually, you know what, I will take a pay cut. That's not going to happen because he's just won the Champions League. This is a top goalkeeper. He can go to United and get what he wants there. He could go to Saudi and get what he wants there. So I think if we do get Donnarumma, we're going to have to change the wage structure to accommodate that player to come in. But I think we can do that because if we take Jackson's wages off, we've just taken Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, who I think was on about 70 a week, might even be more than that, 120. And Kunku, if he stays, then that's fine. But Raheem Sterling's the big one. He's the big money earner at Chelsea, £325,000 a week. That will clearly stop any progression of transfers. So Xavi Simons, I think, will happen. It's a shame that it hasn't happened this week because you'd like to have thought maybe we get to see him in the Club World Cup, the friendly in a couple of days' time. But it doesn't look like we're going to see that. So it is disappointing because I think at the end of the day, you want to see all your new players. You want to see all your new players. Just you want to see some of them, and we will see some of them. But Xavi Simons, I think, would have been a good one to see tomorrow on Friday. Let's just quickly go into something very quickly before we wrap up the stream, because as we know, today was the day that the fans got to see the Club World Cup in its entirety. I know Theo and Darmish were both there. Um, Here we go. Some absentees. No Levi Colwell, no Christopher Nkunku. Obviously, Mark Gui, we know, was in Sunderland. He should have taken Jackson with him. He could have, Sunderland and Newcastle aren't that far away. He could have just drove up there with him and said, actually, don't bother going to that. Just come with me. Slenina as well. I forgot about Slenina. I forgot about him. There we go. And this is why when I say people say we've got no, we're not successful. Even the women's team are more successful than some of the men's teams. But to see the Club World Cup there, to see the players there, it is a good thing. It is a good thing. There we go as well. New signings as well. So I think are there. Marco Correa was there. Tossen was there tonight as well. Badia Schill. Pedro Neto. Enzo with the trophy as well. Of course he is. Obviously Cole's there. Can't do presentation at Cole. Jurgensen looks like he's been out in the cold. Freezing. There's Nicholas Jackson. You should be in Sunderland. You should be in Newcastle. We've got Andre Santos as well. Big Trev. Oasis Caicedo. Malo Gusto. I mean, let's just look at our squad. Our squad is heavily stacked now. We've got quality. And Slimino. Tariq George was there. Another one. Josh Ashiempong. Lavia. Walking with a bit of a limp. Sugo. This is good that some of these players that are out on loan are there as well. So that's quite good. Liam Delap. João Pedro. Without him, we don't win the Club World Cup, let's be honest. Jamie Gittins was there. Joel Heto. Looking forward to seeing him on Friday, or at least on Sunday. Esteval Willian, of course. Come on. Resker and Reece James, come on. With the gold one. So it's all about. So there will be a vlog, I think that's coming out on our channel from this evening's presentation at Stamford Bridge. At least there's no Donald Trump there this time. I mean, that was crazy, wasn't it? That was absolutely bonkers that day in America. But yeah, no, it looks decent. It does look decent. And to be fair, that's what it's all about. Shameless or no shameless, that's what it's all about. We want to win trophies at Chelsea. Like we want the trophies. That's all we want at Chelsea is trophies. So I know there's going to be people saying that it's a glorified friendly, it's a glorified this, that, the third, but when you win it, no one cares. Shout out to CFC Gamer. Now, this looks like the Chelsea we all know about trophies and winning mentality. I agree. And I generally think winning the Club World Cup, winning the Conference League has bred the winner's mentality into these young players. Because we have to remember, this is a young squad. It's a massively young squad, like the youngest average age in the Premier League, probably across all of the tier of football in the English football pyramid. It's one of the youngest we've got. So they are going to make mistakes. The owners are not footballing men. They are going to make business mistakes that are not going to benefit us on the club, on the pitch, but they're getting things right slowly. They are getting things right slowly. So big yourself up, CFC Gamer, of course. Looks like Rodrigo's going to PSG. I'll be honest, I'm glad because we were linked with Rodrigo, and I watch a lot of Real Madrid games through La Liga and through the Champions League. Real Madrid are a little bit like Man City. They only get rid of players if they know they're not good enough. They don't get rid of Vinicius Junior. They don't get rid of him. They're not getting rid of Mbappe. They only get if you're not good enough for Real Madrid, there's a reason why suddenly become surplus. They're very cutthroat. And I when we were linked with Rodrigo, I was a bit like, I don't want him. I just don't see enough of him. For the price that you're paying for Rodrigo as well, you may as well go and get yourself another player or keep one of the Cobham, keep Tariq George. They're on totally different levels. But as I said last night, the ceiling for Tariq George is high, very, very high. We've got Estevao as well coming in. So I don't even think we need him. I'll be honest. I'm glad we've been linked with him and settled and we've moved on from that. I don't think we need him at all. Good move for PSG. Very good move for PSG, but I just don't think we need him at all. Yeah, he just doesn't fit the bill for me, unfortunately. He's not good enough. I don't see enough of him to I don't see enough in quality in him to be able to fit in at Chelsea, where especially when we're so heavily stacked in those areas, I just don't think it would be good enough. I don't think he'll be good enough for us. Yeah, but you say that, but he can play both flanks. So he can play on the left, but he can also play on the right. He can play on the right. He's played games for Madrid on the right. He's just even go and look at his stats. I mean, these stats are not good. And I'm not again, if anyone knows me, I hate stats. I really do hate stats, but um the player that he is, it's not good. They're not good stats. They're not good. I'd rather they're yeah, I mean, look, they scored 32 La Liga goals. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. That's in 172 games. He scored 25 Champions League goals in 64 games. If we go back to last season, he scored 6 goals in 30 games. It's not all about goals. It's not all about assists. I appreciate that. But I tell no lies. 30 games, 6 goals. Like the money that we're bringing him in for, they're non-Madueke numbers. Like we've got players that do that already. I just don't see what else does he bring that other players that we've already got in the team bring. This is the season before. This is the 23-24 season. He played 34, scored 10, which is a bit better. But then you've got 13 matches in the Champions League, 23-24 season. He scores 5. It's just it's the numbers on it. The numbers aren't electrifying. They're not Vinny numbers. They're not numbers that I would be excited about. And that's the problem with him. But I don't know. We'll have to see how that pans out. CFC gamer, are you saying that you'd want him? Would you want him at Chelsea? You're saying here that Rodrigo needs to move so he can be the main man for the team in his natural position. It's a big risk. We love a risk at Chelsea, but that's a big one. Bellingham said in an interview last season that Rodrigo suffers the most because he hates playing at the right wing. He wants to play the left wing instead. It's a good point. But I hear you and respect your opinion. For me, though, I think his quality, especially for the Champions League, he scores clutch goals in that competition. He does. He does. I'm not saying he doesn't score goals, and he's a very good. Again, stats tell one side of a story. They don't tell you how a player plays throughout the 90 minutes. So he plays very well. He's a very good player. And he would take on so many Premier League defenders and he'd run rings around them. He'd be a very good player. I just don't think what we need currently is someone who is just going to hit the ground running and they're prolific in the role that they're given. I don't think he does that in our squad. Now, if you give him to a Man United or you gave him to a Liverpool, it's a totally different. Players come to Chelsea and it just doesn't always work for them. And we've had some really good players at our team, really good players. And if we're being honest, some of them haven't worked. And I'm going back to the Veron days when we had Veron, loads of players at the club. There's especially like on our left. I think when you think back to our left wingers, there's a handful that have worked out, a handful. But we've had some talents in the team, not even just at left wing, but just across the whole team. And not all of them work out. And then they go, like I said about Morata. Like Morata, we thought was going to come in and be a brilliant player for us, and he was okay, but he didn't do enough. And I think for the money that we paid, the money that we pay for Rodrigo, it's just a gamble that we don't need to take. I just think personally, I think it's a gamble I wouldn't want to take. And as a Chelsea fan, I wouldn't want to take that gamble. He will probably, if he does end up at PSG, he will go there, and I guarantee. Well, even at PSG, actually, who plays on? Isn't it Kvaratskhelia? Kvaratskhelia plays on the left, and Doué's on the right. Or Doué plays on the left. You got Dembele on the right. So how's that going to work at PSG? He's not going to be the main guy there either. So yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy one. I don't know what to think about that, to be fair. I don't think we need our focus in our next couple of weeks in the window has to be trying. I know it will never happen, but we have to try for Donnarumma. For me, we have to try for Donnarumma. We have to try and make sure that we get a goalkeeper. And if we can, if we can't, we can't, but we should try. 100% we got to try. And apart from that, maybe a centre-back. But again, I'm talking the right side of our centre-backs. Left side, I think, is covered with Colwill and Wesley Fofana. If we do get rid of Big Trev and we get rid of Badiashile and Dazazi, we are going to need a centre-back. And there isn't many right-sided centre-backs apart from William Saliba, who won't come to us. So there isn't many. What you're saying here, CFC Gamer, yeah, that's true. Big names don't normally work at Chelsea. The young top talents work, though, because they come to Chelsea and they become world-class. I agree, but that's why we got Estevao as well. We've got Gittins. Hopefully he works out. He's a talent. He was a massive talent for Dortmund. And I think, again, I was saying yesterday, although we haven't got many talents or talented players that we know are going to hit the ground running at Chelsea that can play on the left wing, we've got some already that will potentially hit that ground running. Gittins, Pedro Neto can play there. If we keep Tariq George, I think his ceiling is very, very high. Again, I'm not saying that he's on the Rodrigo level, but it's high enough for us to keep him and see what he can do. And there's nothing to say we don't go for Rodrigo in a year or two anyway, but I don't think we need him. I generally don't. For example, Palmer, he's talented and then he came to Chelsea and he's now performing at a world-class level. Caicedo is also an example, good for Brighton. I think Caicedo was at the level that he is now at Brighton. I think two things. One, we didn't really appreciate it much because he was around, it was at Brighton. Again, no disrespect to Brighton fans. He was just at Brighton. And two, the reason we went for him, he was immense. He was immense. And I tell you something, he was playing right back a lot for Brighton. He actually played a lot of games at right back and he didn't look uncomfortable. And I think that's where this whole sort of him playing at right back for us at times has come from, because he's done it for Brighton in a back three. So he's actually playing wing back sometimes for Brighton. So I get your point, though. Well, I get your point about both of them, to be fair, but more so Cole Palmer. The reason I get it a bit with Cole Palmer, though, is because he wasn't. So it goes back to your point that he wasn't the first choice at City, and he's come and he's developed. So he's been given the opportunity. But I said it last night and I've said it last week. He's an anomaly. Cole Palmer is one of a kind. He's one of a kind. And I generally think I watch some of his football and it looks so easy and effortless, but it's not. It's far from it. So, but I do get your point 100%. I do get your point. And I agree with that as well. He was a good player. I think he was world class though. I do think he was at that level at Brighton. And I agree now he is ridiculous. I think can we be confidently say he is the best midfielder? No, let me take that back because I'm thinking now. He's at least in the top 3 world-class midfielders in the world right now. Marco Guerrero for me is the best left back in the world. I'll say that with my chest. I can say that one. But Caicedo's got to be in the mix, the conversation for being the best midfielder. He's in the top 3 conversation now. Maybe we could put Enzo in that conversation as well. Maybe I'm jumping the gun, but I think both of those are definitely in there, 100%. He's definitely come on leaps and bounds. And it's like I said yesterday, we've got one of the best midfields in the world. Lavia, I know Asugo's gone out on loan, but he'll be there. We've got one of the best midfields. Andre Santos. We can't complain. We can't complain. A lot of people spoke about the fee for Caicedo. They spoke about the fee for Enzo. They've paid us back twice over, if we're being honest. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I keep saying tomorrow. I keep thinking it's Thursday. It's Thursday tomorrow. I'm looking forward to Friday, where we've got our game against Bayer Leverkusen at Stamford Bridge, 7 p.m. Then Sunday, 3 p.m. against AC Milan. I'm hoping we'll be doing a match preview for that. Press conference is at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Maresca, hopefully Maresca gives us a bit of an indication as to who's going to be in the team, who's going to be in the starting lineup. You'd expect probably we'll see a lot of the players that didn't play in the Club World Cup on Friday's game. And then on Sunday, it'll be a mixture of the two, but more likely the players that did start in the Club World Cup, they'll get their game on Sunday. And then the following Sunday, it's all systems go. We are back. We are back. This channel is going to be active, very, very active over the next 6 to 8 months and for the remainder of the out season of next season as well. So make sure if you haven't done so already, you hit the notification bell, subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to do that. We're back as well tomorrow morning after the press conference, just to get all the press conference news. So make sure you tune in for that one. Then we're having later on another stream later on tomorrow. The match vlog, the vlog from today's trophy parade will be out tomorrow as well. So check that out. As I said at the start of this as well, make sure that it's in the description. You can't even miss it. The Linktree link. Head over to Instagram. Make sure you tune in. Lock into all of the socials over there as well. We'll be back tomorrow with more Up the Chelsea. We'll be back tomorrow.